Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. I'm so glad that everyone was able to join again for our second session of the LANL Foundation Grantees 2022 Evaluation Institute. We're going to be, the focus of today's session is rubrics, but we're also going to be spending some time at the beginning to debrief the Eval. I mean, the logic model, sorry. PowerPoint is like, okay, it has a mind of its own. All right, so if you could rename yourself by adding your organization, that would be really great. And then we also encourage you to try the speaker view. It makes Zoom less distracting. Okay, if you have a question, please type Q in the chat. We'd like to call on you so you can ask it in your own words, verbally. And then if you have a Zoom problem, Caitlin Moppert, you can chat her. She's our Zoom wrangler. Just wanted to, again, welcome everyone back. We've got 16 awesome organizations. We're really excited to be working with you. Okay, and then, Sylvan, did you want to say a word about LANL Foundation and you guys being here?
Sure. Just excited to see everyone, and just to remind you, if you'd heard this the last time, and say it fresh for those that are maybe just joining for the first time this time, that my presence here, Whitney's here, and any other LANL Foundation staff are purely in the interest of learning from and with you all, and joining in this learning journey together. But if for any you'd rather us not be in your breakout groups, just let the hosts know or the UNM team know, and we will not take it personally. We will be happy to step out, but we do appreciate the opportunity to listen and learn whenever possible. So thank you.
Thanks, Sylvan. Okay, so just to get the full view of what's happening today, so here we are on February 10th. So we're going to be focusing on measuring what matters. And then starting next week, starting Tuesday, our ECHO learning community sessions are going to begin. And the topic of the session on Tuesday is going to be theories of change. And as you know, we're going to be meeting March, April, and May. And then we'll be meeting again in October or November. That we'll be announcing that date in the next month or so, where you'll be doing a presentation and a graduation. So we got some feedback that would be good to have a big picture of what are you expected to do? What are we expecting you to do? And so really what the Institute is all about is giving you tools and also helping you develop an evaluation plan. So the first two sessions are really just like thinking, really reflection work on what your organization is doing and what it wants to be doing and how you might be able to describe what it's doing. And then starting next month, we'll be talking about how you choose something specifically that you want to evaluate and develop an evaluation plan. And so when we talk about, oh yeah, in October, you're going to be graduating and presenting, we're looking for you to tell us what you plan to do, and if you've done some of it, what you've done. So, and we're happy. I'll have questions, time for questions at the end of this brief intro, so that you can clarify if needed. So again, we've got 4 facilitators: myself, Camille, Claudia, and Ranjana, and you will be working with the same facilitator throughout the sessions. And we are also available for questions between sessions. So please feel free to take advantage of that. And today I wanted to introduce Sharla Orozco. She's the person who runs the ECHO learning community. So let me stop the share, and Sharla, or maybe Sharla, I'll give you the, let you see the next slide. And yeah, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us about the ECHO.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you so much for giving me a moment to say hello. It's really great to be able to welcome you all in and see some new faces. So my name is Charla. I started with the UNM Evaluation Lab as a student, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, who even knows at this point, 7 years ago, it might have been 7, I don't know. I have since graduated. I continued working with the lab with the students as a team lead, and then started working with the Summer Institute and the ECHO Learning Community. And now I am kind of directing the ECHO Learning Community. So what is it, right? So we meet monthly. It's a very informal gathering. It is meant to be a place where we can all learn from one another. So it's members of the organizations who have previously been part of the Summer Institute or who have participated in LANL Foundation's Evaluation Institute last year. So it's all folks who have essentially been where you are, including you all. And it's an opportunity for folks to share some type of evaluation thing that they're doing or working on, and any triumphs or tribulations that they're having. So folks have previously shared logic models and said, you know, here are our goals, but we don't really know how to create outputs. And then the community kind of works together and helps them create a few. Or they'll say, you know, I would really like to put this survey out there, but I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And so they'll share their survey components, and the community will give feedback and provide a little bit of, you know, feedback. So it's really a nice informal place where you can come and learn together with us. There is also a didactic topic during every session. So as Melissa has already stated, this session on Tuesday will be on theories of change. So I know you all have been working on logic models, and there's frequently some kind of confusion between what the difference really is. So we're going to focus on that this coming Tuesday. And every session will have a little didactic topic at the end. But I believe it is part of y'all's responsibility or kind of what you have signed on for is to present once throughout your time with the Evaluation Institute. So if anyone is looking to kind of get it out of the way, so to say, this coming Tuesday, and they want to share their logic models, please feel free to email me. Otherwise, you'll kind of just get an example of what the didactic looks like, and we'll learn from each other in that way. In that, you should have all been already added to the listserv. I did send a reminder as well as a calendar hold yesterday to everybody who's on the listserv. So if you did not receive an email, please first check your spam, because it is a listserv, so sometimes it goes to a spam. But if you still check your spam and it's not there, please do either reach out to, I can put my email in the chat, reach out to me directly, or if you want to reach out to Melissa or Caitlin, just so that I can make sure that you get that Zoom link and that you're all set to go.
But just one thing also, people feel free just to put your name and your email into the chat, or just your name. We have your email. If you didn't receive that notice about the ECHO Learning Community, and that way you don't have to do an extra email. We'll follow up with, we'll make sure that you get on the list.
That's perfect. And all of our sessions are recorded. They're posted. Usually we try to aim for about 48 hours after the session. So usually by Thursday, Friday, we have the recordings posted, we have the PowerPoints posted, and any other materials that were shared get posted on our website. The link is down below. And I think it's also in the email and the calendar hold. But that's about it. Does anyone have any questions about the learning community? I don't want to take too much of your time.
I'm going to stop the share just in case people have questions, concerns. We are going to be asking for volunteers from this group, 2 or 3 organizations, to just be like, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to share. It's exactly what you do in our small groups. And honestly, this group is actually probably bigger than the ECHO. I'm not sure, but
it usually, yeah, the ECHO usually has anywhere from maybe 10 to 20 folks in it.
Right. Although everyone here, at least one person from every org is going to try to make it. So it might be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But anyway, are there any questions about the echo component? It's a great model, and we're using a little bit of it, right? By having our small groups. It's the same kind of idea where we're just like, it's so great to see what other orgs are doing and also to share so other orgs can learn from you. All right, so I don't see any questions. So thank you, Charlotte. Thank you for coming in. Also, Charlotte is willing, or not is willing, like regularly will like just check in with anyone who's going to be sharing so that, and what are we talking about? We're talking about 5 minutes or less. So it's really just to start a conversation and to share. It's really a sharing.
And it's so that you don't really, and the way that I think about it, it's really so that you're not learning things and then going off onto your own with no support, right? So it's meant to be a support network so that when you are putting into practice the material that you learn in the Institute, you have somewhere you can go and say, I tried to write this survey, but something just isn't clicking, something's just not right. I feel like I'm missing something. And it's supposed to be that space for you to say, what am I missing, right? Like give you that support that you might not otherwise have. Of course, you always have the Eval lab. You can always contact us and we can assist in any way we can. But it's a monthly place for you to share and be able to have that connection and support so that you don't feel like you're out on an island trying to build your own boat.
Thanks so much, Charlotte.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a great session and I'll look forward to seeing you Tuesday.
All right, great.
Bye.
Okay, so just so you know, the other part of the Institute is ongoing. You'll be having your own organization mission time. And when we go to the small groups, we'll be really interested to see how that went, if that went. But that is a really important component of the sessions. The real work is going to come from you taking time outside of these sessions to do the work. Okay, so, and again, everyone will be expected to share your evaluation work in one echo session. And you just met Charla, who is really happy to help with that. Share your logic model. And then feel free to consult with facilitators in between sessions. Okay, so I wanted to share the feedback we got. Thank you so much for all of you who completed the survey. And so it looks like the level of the session that we did was for most of you just right. And the amount of material covered was mostly okay, but somewhat a little bit overwhelming. And so I just want to emphasize that the concept of these sessions is to give you a tool and then give you a little bit of a start on it, and then be there so that we can answer your questions after you've tried it out. And then we're not expecting you to complete anything during the session. We're just looking for you to have an idea of how to do it. And then we're looking for you to spend your mission time. And then the first thing we're going to do every time that we come back is debrief how that went. And I think that's really, we're thinking that you get some experience with it, you get a little bit more experience with it, and then we can really, hopefully, help you, guide you. So I presented the feedback in terms of pluses and deltas. So pluses were things that worked, and deltas were things that you thought could be changed. And so the small groups giving examples and the real-time feedback were things that people appreciated. Some suggestions which we have incorporated are giving you a grand scheme about where this is going. So again, it's for an evaluation plan throughout the months of this training. This session, we are going to give you your own breakout room so that you don't have to find some other way of connecting with your colleagues. We've established a listserv. We're going to do an exit ticket, and we are recording the meetings. And so in a minute, we'll go to the website and you can see that every session will have the recording there. And we're still working on setting up the small group contact info and getting the prep material to you early. Okay, so what's going to happen today? We're at the end of this intro. We're going to go into the small groups and for you to debrief how your logic model work went, how it was to find the mission time, if you were able to do that. If you weren't able to do that, maybe we can brainstorm ways to help you make that happen. So we'll have a half hour to do that, followed by a break. And then we'll come back at 1:55 into the main session to start the new material. Okay. So we're not doing Rubik's yet. Okay. So let me just go back so you can see what's going to happen. We're going to go into the small groups for a half hour. Yeah.
Melissa, there is a question on the chat.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stop the, let me stop the share. Okay. All right. Oh, good question. What is an exit ticket? So this was a suggestion that we do one word takeaway in the chat. We're going to do that at the end. That was a great suggestion, whoever suggested that. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so Caitlin, if you can open up the breakout rooms, and Caitlin will send a reminder of when the break should start, so that we all get a 10-minute break, and then we'll be coming back at 1:55.
I think whoever is in the LANL Foundation can pick where they want to go. Sylvan, does that sound right?
Sure. I don't know how we do that.
No, I mean, I can put you in those rooms. I just wasn't sure which rooms you all would like to be in. Except for I see Lynn and Jennifer. I'm not sure.
I should. So I'm sorry, I'm new.
Oh, okay.
Here, and I'm here with Amy Franklin McConnell with the SEL cohort, the community catalyst. So I should probably be wherever he's at.
Yep.
That would be true for me too, Lynn.
And then Monica, where?
With Randy and Zach. With Lano, with RPS. I think Randy's under RPS and Zach's under Lano.
So Caitlin, if you could put Monica with Randy Merker and Zach Leonard, wherever they are.
Okay, just sent Jennifer, you should be able to go to your room. And then what was the other thing?
Lynn McMahon, I'm also in the same room that you were sending Jennifer, but I don't see any rooms.
CEL. Do you have the option now?
I don't.
I'm not seeing my option either.
Yeah, I'm not. Lynn. Jennifer should have the option. It says that you just haven't joined.
But there's no small groups at the bottom.
I just got it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And
there you go.
Should be good too. Okay. And then Michael should be. Which room did you say Michael needs to be in?
I'm not sure how they're grouping any groups together. I don't know if Michael has anyone else from his team here today.
Oh, okay. Which group is it?
Peñasco?
Oh, no, I got it. 1 second. Okay. Michael, you should have the option to go to your group. Okay, and then for the three of you.
For Monica,
No, Monica.
for Monica, I need to go into the LANL with Randy Marker and Zach Leonard.
So yeah,
LANL.
Caitlin, LANL's different than LANL Foundation. So the when she puts LANL there, she's part of the team with the with Randy and Zach. So they're coming from different.
Okay.
It's a collaborative. Sorry,
I see.
with
No,
our
that's
names.
okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, I think she should be good.
Great.
Okay.
And I don't know if Michael, you might need to send him. I don't know if you can send him to the.
I can't force him.
Can you send me and Whitney into a separate room actually for this time?
Yeah. Does it matter?
Just our, well, no, just to our own room, like with each other.
Oh.
Um,
I
if you can't, it's okay. We'll just get on. It's okay. We'll just mute ourselves.
We
Just-
can mute ourselves and get on a call.
yeah, just
Okay.
we need to touch base on something. So just we'll mute ourselves and
okay, sounds good.
folks get back. Thank
Hi, Megan. Let me see where you're going. Two. Okay, you should have the option to join your small group.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
that everyone is on the same page. It gets you, again, like a logic model, on the same page so that you have a shared vision and a specific description of success. And one of the things that the author talks about once you've got a rubric is that it's much easier to give and get feedback when everyone is really clear about what it is that they're trying to do. So if you have in your, let's say that you were on a site visit and you wanted to, you were observing the program officer, you might say, hey, it was great when you did, this on the rubric, and, next time consider doing this. And since you already know that's what you're trying to do, it just makes makes everyone be able to help each other get to the goal. The second thing, and the reason why, we just love this for evaluation, is that anything that you can describe what success looks like, you can put it in a rubric, and then you're going to have different levels of success. And then the third thing is going to require some explanation. It says it allows you to develop what is in your circle of influence. And so, again, we're relying a little bit on Stephen Covey again, from his Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about how when you are working in your circle of control and your circle of influence, you can have a sense of mastery and of accomplishment. And if you're trying to work if you're trying to work where you care, but you don't actually have influence, that's a recipe for frustration. And so many times organizations are pushed to do things that are beyond really their circle of influence. And I'll give you an example from one of our organizations that works with us in the ECHO learning community. It's New Mexico Legal Aid. And years ago, they called me up and said, we're supposed to show that we're ending poverty. And that's well, that's a circle of concern. But legal aid is really about, helping people with their legal matters. And so my contention is that when you are very clear about what your circle of control and your circle of influence is, and if you have ways of measuring those, then you are going to be able to be a highly effective organization and not get sucked into things that you actually know are beyond your circle of influence. Okay, so now I'm going to go through some steps. And so you can choose really anything. It can be something from your logic model, so an output or an outcome or a value. So really any kind of concept that matters to your organization. And what is pulled out of this PB&J model is the heart-centered approach. And just one word, which is very important for that organization, is that interactions with clients should be non-judgmental. And so the second thing that you're going to do, so it could be anything, you're going to get to choose what it is that you're going to define. And then you name your levels of success for things that make sense to you. So it could be emerging, developing, achieving, extending. It could be novice, apprentice, master, and expert. It could be, I don't know if this is outdated. We got this from a few years ago. It could be whack, chill, lit, and fire. Apparently fire is good, and so on. And so you describe your levels of success. And then the next thing that we recommend for doing this is to describe levels 1 to 3. So based on what you've seen, for level 1, it's like the worst thing you've seen or the worst possible scenario, something that might wake you up at night and you're like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen. And level 3 should be your standard, or we encourage you to make that the best you've seen. And that way it leaves 4 for your aspirations. And what's interesting about having an aspirational level 4 is that once you've described it, then you can actually start to think of ways to get there. And that's another thing that's so incredibly helpful about a rubric, is that it gives you, once you can see where you're trying to go, once you've described it as specifically as you can, it helps you get there. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I started with that PB&J example, And here's their rubric for non-judgment. And remember, it said that clients or interactions with clients are non-judgmental. And so this was developed by staff at PB&J. And then they divided it into staff behaviors, staff reactions, and what a staff member might say. And so their labels were weak, developing, achieving, and exemplary. So I'm just going to read through the weak. A weak non-judgmental approach would be judging people by their past, treating them as if they are still the same person, refusing to work with a family, educating others in a way that makes them feel stupid. And the reactions might be being verbal about not wanting to be in the home, open expressions of disgust, being condescending to others, and telling clients or staff that they are terrible. So these are some behaviors, unfortunately, that PB&J has experienced with people who were not doing the non-judgmental interaction. They might say things like, you shouldn't have worn that today. You chose drugs over your kids. All drug users are the same. I don't want to be here because you just got out of prison, and people don't change. And so if we contrast that rather negative, obviously that's being judgmental, to I'm going to go over to the achieving. So that's the level 3. Doesn't hold clients' past against them, doesn't look at the past. Listening with empathy in an effort to get to know the client. Educating them in a way that empowers them. Regarding domestic violence, they don't blame the victim, open to learning, praises efforts and hard work, discusses failures as part of progress. I like what you were wearing. Where did you get it? So to give you an idea of how you can describe these different levels, and PB&J uses this to help train and supervise staff. Okay. And again, this is just a recap of what I've already said. And how are we going to do it? Okay, so Caitlin, do you have that link? Can you drop that into the chat? So I'll show you where this will take you to a document that repeats those steps. And actually, I'm going to go there. Why not? Okay. So the link will bring you to this page and this session, and then you can download as a Word or a PDF the document. So it gives you examples of labeling the levels. It gives you another rubric from another organization as another example. And then it allows you to define whatever it is that you're going to be describing, and then you can describe it. Okay, let me see, that's it. And let me just see, let me go back to the PowerPoint. Make sure. Okay, so let me stop there and see if there are any questions. So what we're asking you to do is just try it with your group. And in a minute, Caitlin is going to open the breakout rooms, and you'll be able to choose your organization and go into your own private breakout room. And I'll just tell you what's going to happen next. And if you can think of a question in the meantime. Okay, so you're going to get 20 minutes to practice to start. And we're not asking you to complete. We just want you to have the experience of trying this out. And then we'll come back for 20 minutes into our small groups. And then and that will be the program for today. So let me see. Are there any questions? Let me check in the chat.
I have a question. This is Gay from Cuesta Farmers Market. So that example, non-judgmental, was so clear, and I'm just wondering, I'm thinking like one of the key things for Cuesta Farmers Market for our internship program is to help youth develop personal capacity. And I'm wondering if you would recommend like going to sort of like the word that is like central or guiding, or the phrase, or something a little bit maybe less loaded or something for the exercise, or just maybe giving some other ideas, because like not judgmental, that really worked.
Okay, so let's talk about your personal capacity. I mean, are you saying, I'm sorry, I'm not really.
Sorry, yeah. So it's a youth internship program, and there are a lot of different things that youth do during the day at a farmer's market. This is all the farmer's market up in Cuesta, but the main sort of like the central thing is that they are developing their personal capacities to sort of in different ways, to sort of think to themselves like, I can take on these difficult things that I didn't know I could do. I can become comfortable with difficult things. So that's like all wrapped up in this sort of big concept of developing personal capacity. I'm wondering if that's just like too big of a place to go with this exercise.
Okay, it looks like Anita has a suggestion.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Gaia, this is really interesting for me because as I'm looking at building kind of similar skills in the students that we work with, and what we're turning towards is the teacher behavior and the activities and the tools that we're giving them. And so in a certain way, what a lot of our assessment is looking at is what the teachers are doing. Mm-hmm. And then there's a little bit of gauging how we're measuring those effects. I don't know if anybody can come in on that too.
Yeah, and Anita, I really appreciate that, because what you're saying is that you're looking at your activities or your outputs, like what, and that's what the PB&J was also about, what the staff are doing. Right. And then you do another rubric for the outcome. And so, Gaia, just in terms of I think it's fine to start with everything that you can think of, and then you may find, I'm going to group these. I'm going to group these into like, maybe social things that the kids are doing, maybe, physical things that they're doing for others, or whatever it is. But I think you can definitely start big and then figure out, I'm going to pull this out as a separate concept. I think it's fine to start big. Okay, other questions before we ask you to try this on your own? Okay, so let's go ahead and open up those rooms, and let's do a full 20 minutes, Caitlin, for organizations to get started. And then after the 20 minutes, Caitlin will call you back. You'll come back into the main room, and then you'll self-select back into your group. So hopefully you know the name of your facilitator. That will be helpful. All right, go. Enjoy your rubrics. And if you have questions, you can hang back and ask. Okay. So if you click on your breakout room, you will find all of your organizations, and then you can join them.
And I just want to note, I'm just seeing Anita's great question in the chat, just because if some folks might only have one person, I know there's a number of the organizations on the call that do have a robust group or experience working with teachers and students. So I just encourage that connection, because I know that a bunch of you might have very similar threads to explore.
Oh, so maybe let's see as people go into their own rooms, let's see if there are people who would like to work together, or which is what I think that's a great idea, Sylvan.
Yeah, so I'm happy to go into my room, but I'm also happy to work with anybody else in my pod if they'd like me there, or just with you, Melissa.
Sure, I'll go with you. Or wait, what do we want to do, Sylvan? Do you have a suggestion on
I know there's so many different grantees, but I also don't want to speak for them. I was quickly chatting with some in the chat. Now I can't, as they went to the different rooms, it happened so fast, so I wasn't fast enough. But I do know there's a number of other grantees on the call that do ask those questions of teachers, but are really looking at the teacher behaviors more so to focus on student learning might be the further out goal for the influence or like what you care about, but what your circle of control or more influences within the teacher piece.
Right. So if Anita's working on that, are Amy and Jordan interested in that teacher thing?
I'm about to hop to my group.
Oh, okay.
And you're welcome to join us. The SEL for, well, both groups have a lot of educators in them, both SEL for New Mexico and SEL Community Catalyst. Both groups have loads of teachers talking about exactly this, the behavior of teachers and how that impacts student learning. If I understood correctly what the question was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but Anita, it's up to you, and I'm happy to go and hang out with you.
Yeah, Melissa, if you'd like to come with me, that sounds like it'd be
Sure.
fruitful.
All right, and if those who are left can manage everything else.
Yeah, and Anita as well. I'll do what I can, especially since you're exploring this, that maybe introduce via email you with some folks that are I know are following these threads elsewhere that might not be in their small groups. So even if you don't get to talk about it today, I will do what I can to connect you with folks that are asking that.
Okay, thank you, Sylvan.
Caitlin, I'm thinking maybe offer people that if they need help, they can just push the help button and we'll join the group in case they get stuck. I know it can be a little weird trying it the first time.
Yeah, and I know like it's interesting because I'd worked with Melissa specifically to curate groups that might kind of help influence. So hopefully with the small group, back into the small group, some of those sharings will be more rich, but it is hard to kind of sit on your own if only one person's come to the day. I get that. I know I'm thinking of the folks to connect her with might be more of like some of the professional development for teachers in the math area even, or the environmental education, different organizations and collaborative groups that are working in that, or the Environmental Education Center. All of them have very similar rubrics, even in the last year's evaluation lab. So
They can build on it how it works.
yeah. That might be something, and Whitney, maybe this is something to put in our grantee cohort corner for our discussion channels if people are asking these similar questions, keeping these conversations alive in those different areas to share resources.
Yeah, definitely. We just got to get people to the cohort connect.
Yes, the cohort corner and the Slack channel.
Well, the Slack channel is Cohort Connect, remember?
Yes. So Caitlin, maybe, I don't know, since everyone's working on their own, do you want to bump me, can you bump me, Whitney, into a separate?
I got thrown out mid-sentence. I'm just going to finish what I was saying to my small group. So we got to start, and I'm really hoping that over the next month you can find the time to work on a rubric or the logic model, just so that you can feel like you are getting all the ideas together. So welcome back. I know this is the short session. It's funny how 2 hours can feel fast. And let me go ahead and share just so I keep us on track. Okay. So the idea from a recommendation was that we do an exit ticket. And so if folks could put into the chat, what did it say? Let me go back. Okay, put into a chat. Oh, I had that on a Jamboard. I decided not to do that. Okay, I'm just going to tell it to you. Put into the chat a one-word takeaway from today's session. And then as those come up, we can read through those. I love that idea. It's a way that everyone can participate. We can get a lot of feedback.
you mind giving the prompt one more time?
Yeah, sure. So the prompt is a one-word takeaway or a few-word takeaway for the session today. And I noticed that a suggestion that we give a 2-minute warning. We can do that. I think Caitlin can do that, right? Okay, we will also share the chat this time because there's a lot of useful information in it. So we can do that. All right, thank you all for being involved. And I do want to say again that, we are trying to balance we know you value your time. We respect your time. And we want to try to convey in this short 2-hour session for you to be able to ask questions and get feedback, for you to get an idea of the next step, and then for you to spend the mission time in the following month to take that step, and then we'll repeat the process. So just a couple more things. Okay, so we'd like you to continue working on the rubrics between now and our next session, which is March 10th. On Tuesday is the theories of change. Please put in the chat if you're willing to share even your rubric or a logic model. And honestly, it's like 1 to 5 minutes or 30 seconds to 5 minutes of you just showing something and people giving you feedback. And also people, it's really, it's very generous of you to share because then people get ideas. So it's helping others learn. And then on March 10th, we're gonna, again, we'll come back, we'll start with the rubrics, and then we'll go on to focusing the evaluation. Because at the end of the day, what we want you to have is a plan for measuring what it is that you really care about. Okay, and we've got 5 minutes left. If you wouldn't mind taking our survey again, we will respond to your feedback as best as we can. And Caitlin is going to put that link into the chat, I believe. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us.